Welcome to another episode. In front of me is a fine example of a BMW R9T Scrambler. This is the updated version and we're going to be talking about that in this episode. The main differences between the 2020 version and the 2022 version is that the configuration of the engine has changed a little bit. They put LED headlights as well as LED turn signals in the front as well as in the back. Other changes are with the electronics, which we're going to get into as well. For 2022, the Scramblers come in 4 different colors. You get the Kalamata metallic black, hopefully I said that correctly. You get the granite gray metallic color, and then you get 2 option 719s, Cosmic Blue and Cosmic Black. As I mentioned before, the electronics have been updated for 2022. For 2021, they were pretty much rudimentary, but in 2022, they've added an IMU system to this motorcycle. The IMU system is not like what you would get on a sport bike, but it does help you out with ABS Pro, which is something that this motorcycle has, and it's an option that you can purchase separately. But as far as the modern convenience electronics that you get for 2022, that includes a cruise control feature as well as heated grips, and that's something that all GS models and models such as the BMW F900R had, which made them really comfortable motorcycles to ride. And now the BMW R9T motorcycles gets that as well. So let's talk a little bit about the engine. For 2022, the engine loses a single horsepower. Now normally when you get an upgrade or when a new model comes out, it usually has more torque and more horsepower. Well, in this situation, it does have more torque, but it is down on 1 horsepower. And I believe that's to meet the Euro 5 emissions, but regardless, I've ridden the previous generation Scrambler as well, and in my opinion, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. And as a matter of fact, you really can't tell. It's indistinguishable between 109 and 110, but it has 85 foot-pounds of torque, and that kicks in somewhere around 6,000 RPM, which is phenomenal. Unfortunately, it does not have a tachometer. You really can't tell what gear you're in as well, which I found to be kind of annoying. No gear indicator, no fuel indicator, reminiscent of all the BMW R9Ts, as a matter of fact, not just this one. Regardless, I think the biggest annoyance for me with this motorcycle would have to be the lack of a gear indicator. As far as other electronics on this motorcycle are concerned, as I mentioned before, it's got multiple riding modes, so let's cycle through them here. It's got road mode, it's got dirt mode, and it's got rain mode. Now, the dirt mode is only available as an option, and I believe that's the select package or the premium package. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but as standard you get 2 modes, which is rain and road. Aside from that, this motorcycle does come outfitted with off-road tires. Check that out. Riding this motorcycle over here felt a little bit weird because, as you guys know, I ride sport bikes most of the time, so riding a motorcycle that has off-road tires, it felt very different, very weird to me. But this is something that you're gonna have to get used to if you buy something like this. As standard, it will come with regular street tires, so these tires that are on the Scrambler are an option from the factory if you decide to purchase them. Alright guys, let's fire this baby up. Oh yeah, you immediately recognize that this is a BMW R9T. As soon as you turn this baby on, the handlebars shake left and then right. It almost feels like this thing is going to tip over for a second. But it's got a lot of torque, a ton of it. And as you can see below me, the cylinder heads are popping out left and right. It's got a very mean presence. By the way, this video is brought to you guys by Seaver BMW. So if you guys are looking for a BMW motorcycle, make sure to check out Seaver and tell them your boy Petrohead sent you. The regular 2022 model that I reviewed, which was the pure model, was a fantastic cruiser. And if you're the type that is looking for a little bit more adventure, well, let me tell you something. This Scrambler is definitely something that you should be buying. Those meaty fat tires in the front and in the back, they are meant to go on that stuff right there, which is sand. But unfortunately, this is a demo motorcycle, my friends. I only have access to riding it on smooth public roads like this. One thing I'm noticing is that with these fat tires, it makes a lot of road noise. So as I'm riding, I'm hearing this humming sound coming from the front tires. Something to note, if you purchase this bike and you get the fat off-road tires,
that it's going to be a little bit on the noisy side. I think this motorcycle looks absolutely badass in its current format. As I was mentioning in the beginning of this review, what makes the 2022 models so interesting is the fact that they have more torque than the previous generation, and now they have cruise control as well as heated grips. Not a lot of people live in a beautiful climate such as myself. I'm in beautiful Orange County. I'm right next to the beach, and the weather is a cool, crisp 72 to 75 degrees. But not everybody has that luxury to live in California with beautiful weather all year round. And when you're riding a heritage motorcycle such as this, or any cruise style motorcycle such as a BMW R9T, it's nice to have those things that bigger motorcycles, its bigger brethren, like the BMW GS 750, 850, and the 1200, and so on and so forth have. BMW has done it correctly for the 2022 model year, and I'm really happy that they've given it heated grips as well as cruise control. Nice touches, BMW. Thank you for that. But anyways, as far as the engine is concerned, top speed on this motorcycle is 124 miles an hour according to BMW. So some of you might be asking, with a 1200 or 1170cc engine, how come it does 124 miles an hour only? Well, the reason why it could do 124 miles only is because of the RPMs. It gets most of its torque at 6,000 RPM, and I'm not exactly sure what the max RPMs is on this motorcycle, but I believe it's somewhere around 8,000 RPM. So if it had more RPMs and if the engine cranked out a little bit faster, I believe this motorcycle would have had a faster top speed. Because that was one of the questions I received when I reviewed the BMW R9T Pure version. If you're going to be an 8-year-old like me that's going to do hard launches with this motorcycle from traffic light to traffic light, you're going to notice one thing with this motorcycle. It has a dry clutch, and when you're stopped, you're going to smell that dry clutch. For those of you guys that are used to wet slipper clutches, well, you're going to have to get used to a dry clutch. It's kind of like four-wheel automobiles that have clutches. They're dry, so you got to be careful because the clutch can burn out. Something else I want to point out with this motorcycle are these mirrors. I'm not a big fan of them, to be honest with you. I don't think they suit the bike pretty well. I think that if you change these out and put bar end mirrors, it would make the bike look a little bit more classier. But that being said, they don't vibrate and they're pretty solid. As far as the transmission on this motorcycle, whatever you're shifting up, you hear the little clunking sound. I have my brand new Shoei RR1400 helmet on, so it's really quiet, but I can still hear a nice satisfying clunk sound whenever I shift up in gears. But the transmission is nice and smooth, the clutch is nice and smooth, and that's because it is hydraulically operated. Yes, my friends, this is a hydraulic clutch. You only find that whenever you're riding high quality motorcycles. Given the fact that here in OC we don't have a lot of twisty roads, unless we go all the way out east, and I believe that's about an hour away, but judging by doing a simple slalom test such as this, even with its knobby tires, I can tell you that it handles pretty well. And I think that's down to the fact that BMW has nailed it. I haven't ridden a single BMW motorcycle, from the big gigantic GS models all the way to the small and nimble S1000RRs. Well, it might not be so small, but you get what I'm saying. It's a very nimble, very quick turning housefly of a motorcycle. Every single motorcycle that BMW makes handles phenomenal. It's a BMW, it should, right? Exactly. So as far as my slalom test, whenever I don't have those twisty roads, it definitely passes that test, even with these knobby tires. If you have a BMW R9T, let me know if you bought it specifically because you like the look of it, or because you want to do some off-roading with this motorcycle, or some scrambling as you might call it. Leave a comment down below, I'm very curious.
Very nice bike, man.
Thank you. He likes the bike. Yep, this bike has got some get up and go. I like it, I like it. But anyways, the last thing I want to talk about with you guys is the comfort of this motorcycle. How is it on a day-to-day basis? Because a lot of people are going to buy this motorcycle and just ride it on regular B roads like I am. So as far as road mannerisms are concerned, the clutch is nice and soft. I can tell you that. You won't get tired riding this motorcycle. As far as the brakes are concerned, they're a bit spongy in the beginning, but if you pull it just a little bit, they bite. but it does take a little bit for the brakes to bite. But when you're riding this motorcycle, it doesn't feel heavy at all, doesn't feel bulky. Feels nice and compact. Underneath you, it doesn't feel like you're riding an elephant. Like the big GS models, to me at least, they feel like you're riding a big gigantic elephant. But this is nice and compact, and it feels very light despite the fact that it weighs almost 500 pounds. Alright, we're going to be getting into the highway now, and I want to test out the cruise control feature on this baby. Let's see how it does. For a street squid like me, having cruise control is an absolute necessity. Keeps me out of trouble, I'll tell you that much. But with that being said, on long commutes, like as an example, I'm going right now to Erbsiever BMW to return the motorcycle. I'm going to be doing some highway miles. It's going to take about 40 minutes to get there, so cruise control is definitely going to be handy. Alright, here we go, entering the highway. Let's turn on the cruise control feature. Let's see how this baby acts. Alright, so there goes cruise control. My hands are off, and I'm doing a steady 80 miles per hour. Oh man, I like this a lot. Cruise control is a pretty neat function because you can pretty much set it and forget it, but in a situation like this where we have traffic, probably not a good idea to use it. Cruise control can be a good thing and a bad thing because it allows you to take your mind off of your right wrist and then get distracted with all your surroundings. When you're riding for a long commute, I think cruise control is going to be a real treat, but for short distances such as the one that I'm doing right now, where I'm headed back to Erbsiever BMW to return the motorcycle, may not be necessary after all, because it's not such an uncomfortable motorcycle. Usually when I have to use the cruise control, it's because I'm uncomfortable. My right wrist is like killing me. I think cruise control should be on every single motorcycle. Why aren't they? I don't know. Just makes life so much easier. When you're riding on the highway, it's so much more pleasant to ride. Unfortunately, our time is up with the BMW R9T. So if you guys are looking for BMW motorcycles, come check out Erbsiever BMW here in Orange County. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with the BMW R9T. I think it's a fantastic motorcycle. I've ridden quite a few of these by now, and I've also ridden its big brother, the R18 model, which is a gigantic monster of a motorcycle. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please give it a like and also subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Until next time, guys, ciao for now.